What if I ask you a question? When you hear a set of hooves, what animal comes to mind? More than likely your answer is a horse. What if I ask you that same question, but ask you to tell me, is it a horse or a zebra? It's not as easy to do. Now, we've all dealt with illness. We've all been sick at some point in our lives. And we may have even misdiagnosed ourselves, thinking it was something when it really wasn't. We may have even received a misdiagnosis from a doctor. Now, the first step to any successful treatment plan is going to be understanding what you're dealing with. The last couple of years, friends and even my family have been impacted by a tricky diagnosis. One point, we're thinking that it's another common illness or a side effect of something else, and the next moment, we're coming to realize, or we find out that this is a lot more serious than what we thought it could be. That's what neuroendocrine cancer is. Now, there's not much known about the disease, and it's difficult to diagnose. There's not much awareness around what the symptoms are, what to be looking for, and that's both from the medical and our public communities as well. Now, I encourage you to learn about neck cancer after here today, and to raise awareness about what it is. Now, first, we have to look at what the problem really is, and understanding what neck cancer is. Now, the Mayo Clinic will classify this as an abnormal growth in an area where neuroendocrine cells are located. And to put it in plain English, these are just hormone and nerve-producing cells. And these are found in areas such as your appendix, your small intestine, rectum, or even your pancreas, for example. Now, the treatment for a neuroendocrine tumor is really depends on a lot of factors. It's a type of tumor, whether it's cancerous or not. Where is it located and what organ is it found? Has it spread into other areas? Or is it producing or overproducing those hormone or nerve cells that we mentioned where they're located? So understanding that is the first step. The second step is what makes really neck cancers difficult to diagnose. Now, first, in the medical references for WebMD, we look at some of the research that's been made already. Now, a lot of it is really pointing to genetic factors, a genetic marker in our bodies that can signify that maybe somewhere in our family there's a genetic mutation or genetic marker that will indicate that there's a likely chance that somebody in our family will get a neuroendocrine tumor or be a subject of neuroendocrine cancer. But at the end of the day, there's not much known as far as what causes it. There are several cases that have no genetic markers that result with neck cancer. Now, the symptoms are the other part. They mimic other common illnesses, such as diabetes, colitis, and other common symptoms. And just for example, some of the symptoms you'll see are dizziness, headache, fatigue, gaining or losing weight without training, or training, and a lot of common items like that make it difficult to diagnose. Now, as a result, we see several patients that go undiagnosed for several years, or even misdiagnosed and mistreated because of the symptoms that they're showing. Now, the nature of the tumor really requires specialists to be on board. In some cases, it requires a whole team of specialists to be on board, and that goes from the testing phase to the diagnosis, all the way through to the treatment and the follow-ups afterwards. Patients and their families find it next to impossible to find the help that they need, and that goes from the treatment, that goes from being able to identify what's really going on. Some families don't have the help they need locally, so they have to travel several hours or even go across states to be able to get the help that they need for themselves or their loved ones. Clearly, this is a problem that's difficult to really measure. The solution to help the doctors, patients, and families, I believe, is going to be in taking a proactive approach, a preventative approach, in raising awareness. Now, first things first is to get educated on what it is. Ask questions. Question your doctor. At the end of the day, you know your body. Ask questions to your doctor. Ask questions to your family members that maybe have an ongoing or a chronic illness. So that way, we get the right people pointed into the right direction and getting the help they need. Secondly, you can either be part of some already existing organizations or get familiarized with what they have to bring to the table. online, there's a lot of really big organizations that are already taking that step forward. For example, one of the big organizations is the International Neuroendocrine Cancer Alliance. Now, this is a huge organization. It actually has 20 smaller organizations working underneath it across 17 different countries. This is a really great step in raising awareness and especially reaching out to some of those countries or some of those areas that are a little bit more secluded that really need that education. Secondly is the Neuroendocrine Cancer Awareness Network. Now they have a lot of great educational information that you can request. They run a lot of different campaigns, and they also have a lot of successful events. This is not only to reach out to the families and the patients that are impacted, but also reaching out to the communities where they have their events and their campaigns. This is a really big step in making sure that more people are educated and know about it. And most importantly, being an advocate yourself about the neuroendocrine cancer. Educate your local community, your family members, your friends, anybody that's in your area, especially in those smaller towns and smaller cities where some of the specialty help isn't readily available. Another thing that you can do is celebrate the Neck Cancer Awareness Month, which just happens to be November. There's also a Neck Cancer Awareness Day that falls on November 10th. And it's a very simple way to raise awareness and celebrate the month or the day. It's wearing a small ribbon or placing the zebra pattern somewhere along with the Neck Cancer Awareness Day or month. And the zebra is obviously alluding to our earlier question. But this is going to be a great cause to raise awareness and truly trigger some of those informative conversations, trigger the questions, which is at the end of the day what we're really looking for. Now, in conclusion, it's apparent that neck cancer is a bigger problem than what we can really determine or what we can really measure. With the difficulty in really understanding what the diagnosis is, what the disease is, and getting the right treatment, it's going to be even more crucial to understand what it is and to be able to raise awareness successfully. So by supporting the existing organizations, maybe setting up an organization yourself, or being an advocate of awareness yourself, you can do your part in saving a life from that cancer. So the next time that you hear that pair of hooves, just keep in mind that not only horses can make that noise. Thank you.